Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. It is a magical Monday here in the studio as I record. You know what I'm going to say next. I am grateful to be back with all of you, and I hope you've had a great long weekend. I know for a lot of people it's a holiday, so they weren't having to do the same amount of work and a little more chill time. So yeah, let's see here. Before we start, I would like to take a moment and read a review on Amazon for my new book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. It feels amazing to get these positive reviews from people, and so much work goes into writing a book. And yeah, if you guys haven't gotten it yet, go over to goldenkey.gift. And of course, you can use the code POSITIVEHEAD to get the audio or ebook. This particular review came in on Amazon. They didn't put their name, just as Amazon customer. Life-changing. If you are ready to manifest your deepest desires in your life and will show up fully to believe that you are worthy of success, peace, and joy, this is the book for you. The wisdom channeled through this book started a 3-month journey of self-discovery and realization that I didn't even think was possible. Take the leap, get the book, and open yourself up to the possibility of profound transformation. Love to all. Well, thank you, Amazon customer, whoever you are, for taking the time. Those reviews help us to reach new people. And yeah, like I said, it feels so good to get that feedback and know that if it helps one person, it's such a win. And it just feels really, really great. Also, we've just set it up where, for those of you who are familiar with it, where, you get, I'm gifting the audio or ebook to you guys, and then you can go back after and pay something for it totally optionally. And then we share those proceeds with whoever kind of gave you a code originally. And because each of you can create your own code and kind of continue to spread the abundance, spread the wisdom. And what we've just set up is where any earnings, were half of any revenue that comes in, I share with everyone. And you can take and opt to have yours go to Charity Water, which is like my favorite charity. It basically, so they take 100% of the proceeds that come in and go to building wells in areas where I think it's like 2 in 10 people, if I'm remembering, in the world don't have access to clean water. And so that's what they help to do. So any money that's donated to Charity Water goes 100% to the actual building of the wells. So really, really love that charity. And I mean, what a fundamental foundational thing to, help support. So that's something that we've recently set up as an option on the site. When you sign up to create your own code, you can participate in that. So yeah, some other cool stuff like that's going to be coming down the road, hopefully in the future, just trying to make it as positive ripples as possible out there. And yeah, thank all of you who've played along so far with the Golden Game and everything. You'll see more on goldenkey.gift if you haven't seen any or haven't heard about this yet. All right, so today I want to talk about negative emotions. And there's a lot of this I feel like there's some confusion around this topic. I know even for myself, it's something I've really had to wade through, and I had sort of a aha moment last week and made a note. I wanted to talk about it on a show this week. In this idea that you hear about like kind of toxic positivity where it's like avoidance of anything negative at all, and push it away, push it down, and versus this idea of actually allowing the emotions to move through you and experience them and feel them fully and allow them to pass. Because I do think sometimes it's just like energy that needs and wants to move through you. um, you know uh, Sort of like this idea we've heard, pain is just weakness leaving the body, right? And so a lot of times we try and always make things so black and white. And it makes me think of the live song from uh, many years ago. It's not a black and white world. The colors they swirl, the beauty of gray, essentially. And that's truly what's going on. It's gray. It's like there's a little of both in there is what I've come to realize. There is a time and place and a way to sort of catch yourself when you're getting negative, when you're going down that path, and to course correct and prevent and sort of, turn before the momentum gets too thick, it gets too full. It's like a train leaving the station, right? You can at first, maybe if you saw a train leaving the station, it's going kind of slow. You might be able to run up and jump on it, no problem. But once it's really gets moving, not a chance, you're going to get hurt. And so there's too much momentum. Right. And so I think that's what I've come to realize. That's what I believe is going on with this idea of how to approach avoiding getting caught in a negative spiral. And then the times when maybe you go a bit too far, there's too much momentum, and now you're kind of in it. Right. So first things first, if you can kind of catch yourself before it gets too severe and find a way to navigate your thoughts gently to something that is, not that's gonna sidestep really going into a negative spiral. Great. I think that's an amazing thing to do. It's something that we talk about all the time by applying the right perspectives to the challenge so that you see it in a new light, and therefore the feelings and emotions that come up around it, the thoughts are shifted in a positive direction. That's amazing. It doesn't always happen, right? Life's what happens when your plans don't work out. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And sometimes we get punched in the face and it hurts. We're going there. We're feeling bad. We're hurting. We're angry. We're sad. All of these things. Now, once we really go there and we didn't get off of the pit stop before the train got going, now what, right? Well, it's not so simple to just jump off and go from feeling really down to all of a sudden feeling like, rainbows and butterflies. That's not really how it works. So if you go there, what I found is, first things first, if you can get off the exit before you go there, great. If you can't, great. It's all a part of the journey. It's the beauty of gray, right? It both can happen at different times in your journey. Allow it to be. If you go there, feeling it, allowing it to be as long as necessary until you start to at least see and observe what it is that you're doing, right? I feel like this act of observing it is so powerful for us to see that, okay, here I am. I'm in this very dark, negative, angry, sad, state, whatever the key emotion is. And I can see this is where I'm at, and I've navigated it here with my thoughts, so I can observe it. And when I observe it, I at least create some separation between myself and the emotion. If you can think of these emotions and energies as clouds that are passing by, if the cloud is there, like, hey, behind every cloudy day you've ever seen, what has come out eventually? The sun. Right? So you can observe and say, okay, yeah, hey, it's a cloudy day. I'm in the clouds. It's overcast. And that's okay. And so now what do I do from there? Once I've observed it, now you've started to create some level of separation from it. Because prior to observing it, you're just in it. You are the emotion. You're feeling it fully. You may be crying. It's racking your body. And so it's like there, you're kind of lost in it. And then you get to that observing state. And then once you get to that observing state, now you can start to say, okay, how do I proactively take steps to navigate myself out of this without dishonoring the emotion that wants to be expressed, and that, hey, it's here now. It needs to, it needs to be expressed. It's this energy that energy, emotion, energy in motion, emotion, right? Energy in motion. So I'm allowing it to be expressed. And I'm going to do little things, not take a leap. I'm not going to all of a sudden go to rainbows and butterflies in 10 seconds. Little things to just help move the energy along. A walk, getting in the sun, maybe some exercise. Little things like that are physical movements that we can do to help navigate ourselves out of it. And reaching, as Abraham talks about, reaching for more neutral thoughts, things that are, not more general thoughts. This is a huge thing. Like when you can start looking at what are the thoughts that are feeding into this this emotional meltdown that I'm having. What are the thoughts that are feeding into that? Okay, could I maybe choose a different perspective or a different angle to look at it through? Maybe it's not one that's rosy and exciting, but maybe it's just a little more general, a little softer, a little less edge to it, and start navigating that way. And these are the things that I find that can lead me out and that can lead you out and us out, is in really understanding the difference between these two. There is a time and a place for stopping before the train gets going, right? Before the momentum is too thick, too full, too fast, you can get off the exit, and you're going to get better and better at that, more proficient at that, especially as you have these more positive perspectives in your back pocket, right? But then there's the times where you're just going to go there, and that's okay too. And it's not mutually exclusive. It's not one or the other, that it's always got to be. And I think that's a big, I think there's been a lot of confusion around that, where when people talk about this, no, you got to always feel it. No, you got to, navigate away with the power of your thoughts and focus. And the truth is there's a time and a place that both are going to work for you. And so to me, that was a sort of a realization in the last week that I wanted to share. And along with that, I found a clip where, Abraham, who I mentioned earlier, Esther Hicks, talks about this a lot, this sort of thing, and how to respond to negative emotion and deal with it. And very, very helpful hearing her perspective. So I actually haven't shared a clip from her in a while. So I'm going to share a clip here. This one's called The Right Way to Respond to Negative Emotions. Take a listen.
Hi, Abraham. First, I'd like to express my high-octane, turbocharged stream of appreciation. I begin my day listening to your recordings in traffic on KT Freeway, by the way. And I find that's the best way to begin the day. Thank you. My question is on responding to negative emotions. So after hearing your teachings, I began enjoying negative emotions. Like what I mean is, I know that my guidance system is working.
Perfect.
So,
yes.
But sometimes I wonder if I'm responding to it by thinking downstream thoughts, or whether I'm numbing the sensations, whether I'm ignoring my guidance with the head in the sand.
Well, we liked the word that you began with when you said responding to negative emotion. That's really good. Responding. What should my response to negative emotion be? Should I panic? Oh, what must I be attracting the way I feel? What is a response to negative emotion? What is the best possible response to negative emotion? What do you think?
I think it's to be happy that the guidance system is working.
So awareness of what? My guidance system is working, and what's it telling me? Simple. It's saying that negative emotion is saying, this thought that's active in me right now doesn't jive, is out of alignment, doesn't agree, is nothing like the thought that the inner being within me is thinking about the same thing at the same time. Now that tells you a lot. First, it tells you the source is aware of you, doesn't it? In other words, you couldn't have negative emotion if there wasn't a disparity in the emotion. If there wasn't a difference in the vibrational focus, you couldn't have negative emotion. So it means what I'm thinking is different than what source thinks. That's a wonderful response to that. But then what's the response to that? If source clearly is feeling differently, thinking differently, vibrating differently than I am, then what would the best possible response be that I could offer? I'm going to try to think myself into alignment with source. So feel around. What we've noticed is the more specific you are, let's start another place. So there's wanted and unwanted. The more specifically you are focused on unwanted, the worse you feel. The more specifically you are focused upon wanted, the better you feel. So if you're specifically focused, let's say something's happened and you've really been at it, you're in detail, you've had lots of conversations with lots of people, it's really active in your vibration, so it feels quite strong and quite steadily strong. Well, it seems like my response should be, I should just start being very specifically positive. But you can't make that jump. So the answer, the response is, get more general in your negative attention. That's the way to back away from it. In other words, start, because you can't go cold turkey. That's what Esther says to Jerry. I'm going to get better on this, but I don't think I can go cold turkey. And she's playing about it and being accurate about it with herself. But also, there's a law of attraction reason that no one can just all of a sudden think entirely differently than they've been thinking. It's because the way you've been thinking is what's probably the way you're going to keep thinking. You just want to generally move it on that topic, you see. So, did you hear us earlier when we said that you are in the vortex every day? So if you're in the vortex every day and you're doing work from inside the vortex, which simply is milking it, then when you have this negative emotion and you're saying, what should my response be? Well, you can't necessarily just jump in the vortex. And you can't necessarily, in that moment, just stop thinking that thought because it's active. And law of attraction's dishing up more thoughts like it. But you do have the ability and the power to de-emphasize it, to make it more general, to make it less specific. Do you want to give us an example of a negative thought, and we'll show you how we would soften it?
For example, thoughts on the economy, say. So I know that I have not changed my perspective. I'm just ignoring it. So I'm worried that it'll just get bigger.
And what emotion, does it bring an emotion of fear or concern?
Concern, yes.
So I'm aware that I have concern. What should be my response? First, my inner being must not be thinking the same way I am. So my inner being isn't concerned. My inner being does not think about the economy in the way. Now, let's start again. We want you to first accept that Source is aware of you and that you are an extension of Source. So it's not like Source is frivolously not concerned because it has nothing to do with Source. Source is intimately involved in everything that you were involved in. So it's not that Source doesn't need to worry about it because it doesn't have anything to do with Source. It has everything to do with Source. Source just isn't a worrier because Source isn't a problem focuser. So when you acknowledge, so you feel negative emotion, you say, what should my response be? First, I'm happy that I felt it because my guidance is working. Next, I'm happy that I'm aware that Source is seeing it differently. I'm going to see if I can't see it more like Source sees it. And then you try to see it more like Source sees it. But don't try so hard that you dig in and try to, it's like the game we play with these money and manifestation affirmation cards. If you're out of the vortex and worried about something, let's say you are in that place of concern about money, and so you say, well, I'll take these wonderful cards and I will affirm I can see my world through the eyes of Source. That's interesting that is the one that comes up. I can see my world through the eyes of Source. No, I can't really, because I've got negative emotion. I'm feeling negative emotion. Clearly, I am not seeing my world through the eyes of Source. That card shouldn't be in there. The law of attraction responds to my vibration. I don't like that one either. Whenever I'm feeling good, I am attracting good. Give it a rest. There's not one good card in this whole deck. Because when you are feeling that way, then making too strong of an effort just sort of makes you dig in. You understand what we're getting at. And so if you make a softer effort because these cards, you have to understand, we wrote these, they're brilliant. But we wrote them from inside the vortex. They are very high vibrational frequency. And if you're feeling concerned about money and you are trying to hammer yourself over the head with these very high vibrational cards, they just make you mad. Or they make you more aware that you're not where you want to be than you were before you were reading them. Why would anyone make cards like this? Because you have to understand how to use an affirmation card. You have to understand that you're wanting to do all of your affirming from inside the vortex. But first you got to be in there. And so, how do I respond to negative emotion? My guidance system is working. It clearly is telling me that Source is looking at it differently. So I'm going to try to de-emphasize or make more general this specific thought that I'm thinking. So the specific thought is something like, the economy is bad and I don't know how that's going to impact me, and it seems like it is impacting me in this way and in this way and in this way. And as I look around, I see evidence of bad economy here and bad economy here. Specific. So now you try to be more general. I don't have to think about this now. The pendulum always swings. There are always boom times and times of greater trauma. There are people who thrive under all conditions. It always does come back. There is evidence of well-being around. There are some people who thrive in all economic times. I really don't have to think about this right now. No, I'm doing all right.
If I don't think about it right now, then perhaps I'm being insensitive to it.
But hear what we're saying. What you were thinking about it right then when you said, I don't really have to think about it right now. In other words, this is softer. I don't have to get specific about this right now. I'm going to think about it in a general way. I'm going to think about it in a way that gives me ease. I'm going to think about it in a way that allows me to feel more what Source feels about it. I'm going to feel generally good, even though Source is feeling specifically good. And eventually, I'll be able to feel specifically good like Source is feeling specifically good. But right now, I can't feel specifically good because I just came from feeling specifically bad. But I'm going to feel generally bad. The way it goes is specifically focused, which feels really bad. Less specifically focused, which doesn't feel so bad. Generally focused on what I don't want, which doesn't feel so bad. Then generally focused on what I do want, which feels, that's when you feel your first noticeable relief. Then more specifically focused upon what you do want, which feels like more relief. And more specifically focused upon what you do want, which begins to feel like hope. And then more specifically focused, which begins to feel like belief and knowing, until you're feeling passionate like Source feels. Source has never felt more passionate about the expansion and the well-being of this planet than Source feels right here, right now. Because there is more in the vortex than has ever been there before. You are your greatest height of expansion. And the potential for satisfying in manifested form that vibrational expansion is greater than it's ever been, because there are more people aware of their emotions, more people wanting to tend to their own vibration than has ever been before. You see what we're getting at? These are better times than ever, not worse times than ever. There is no regression. There's no going back. There's only expansion. But there can be someone holding themselves apart from who they are, which feels pretty darn bad. It's like there's a song some time ago, why do the stars keep on shining? Don't they know it's the end of the world? It ended when I lost my love. In other words, don't they know why? Why are the people happy out there? Don't they feel what I feel? No, because what you feel is only about the vibration between you and you. But when there's an economic climate or something going on where a lot of people are feeling some of the same things, then you start sort of vibing off each other. and it's not to your advantage. But at the same time that more people are worried and vibing off each other, there's this really extra robust vortex of creation over here that's vibing too, that's attracting all the cooperative components. And that's why when that pendulum swings, it really swings. That's why, don't you find it interesting how suddenly things got so bad? You were just bipping along, everything seemed pretty good, and suddenly the whole world seemed to economically come to an end. No, it didn't. There were just some people who don't understand anything about vibration, that in order to serve their own, what they thought was their higher good, got you all focused negatively in order to make you go along with something that they thought was a good idea for them. You see. And we don't give this to you because there's anything terrible about it. Everyone is selfishly oriented. Don't worry about people being selfishly oriented and trying to do what they think is best for them. It's what makes the world go round. You have the ability to personally cope with that. You have the ability to let that happen and let it stir something personally in you, vividly in you. In other words, these people that were at the heart of this economic thing are no different than our friend's lover, who just harassed him into greater expansion. Except you've been harassed into really great expansion, you see. And when you feel fear or concern, you're not lined up with the expansion that you've been harassed into. And that's what your response to negative emotion is. Oh, I must have expanded and I must not be going. There must be something, because if I hadn't expanded, I wouldn't feel this discomfort. If the expansion hadn't happened, the discomfort wouldn't be within me right here and now. So a great response to negative emotion is, I must have really expanded. There must be something really good that I'm on my way to. Where source is already there. And so the good news is source is calling me. The good news is when I lighten up by being less specifically focused, the vortex can pull me closer and closer and closer. The good news is I'm going to feel better and better. The good news is relief feels good all along the way. The good news is I can't get it wrong and I never get it done. The good news is expansion is always mine to be had. And before you know it, you'll be in the vortex looking at it as the source within you is saying, I really appreciate these highlighting experiences that have caused us globally to expand, which means our world, like it always has been, friends, your world is getting better and better and better and better and better. You are not regressing.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to share an exciting new development in my world that can benefit those of you who are ready to get out there and travel. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, at some point you have most likely heard me talk about my personal hero's journey tale regarding the Inc. fastest growing private travel company I co-founded that imploded back in 2015. Well, out of the ashes of that challenging lesson, my brother and I started a new travel company called Hello Vacay. And an exciting new chapter has just unfolded in my travel company saga as Hello Vacay recently secured a huge partnership with the world's largest online travel agency, Priceline. Essentially, due to our past success working with them all those years ago, they have agreed to give us access to their deeply discounted private wholesale booking rates. Our new site, HelloVacay.com, is sort of like the Costco for hotel and alternate accommodations because it allows anyone to get access to these wholesale rates, which are up to 50% off the normal booking rates you'll find on all the other major online travel sites. The only caveat is that Priceline won't let us display these rates publicly because they are so much lower than even what you would see at Priceline.com. So to offer them, they insisted that we have a paid membership for people to get access to these much lower rates. And since I appreciate all of your ongoing support as I've continued to share the updates on my entrepreneurial journey over the years, I originally announced that we would give you all 50% off the normal membership fee of $79 a year. However, after talking to my brother more about it, I convinced him to give all of you 100% free access for the first year when you go to HelloVacay.com and use the code PHFreeYear at checkout for the yearly plan. And be sure to choose the yearly plan, not monthly, when you're signing up to get the full free year access. Once you're a member, you'll see that the discounts vary from city to city and season to season, But if you're traveling with any regularity, your savings will easily add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. I personally saved over $200 in one weekend when I went to Seattle not too long ago. Also, I'm honestly not sure how long my brother will agree to allow me to run this free year offer. So if you plan to travel at all in the coming year, be sure to go to hellovacay.com, spelled HELLOVACAY.com, and use the code PHFreeYear to take advantage and get free access to wholesale travel booking rates. Journey well, everyone. I love this. It's like, this gives you awareness that my guidance system is working. Whenever you're feeling negative emotions, I'm aware my guidance system is working. I'm out of alignment. I'm not aligning with my inner being or higher self or source, right? And that's why I feel this discomfort. So my compass is working in a sense. And what I'm thinking is different from source. And the more specifically you're focused on what's unwanted, of course, the worse you feel. The more energy you're putting into that, the deeper the pain, right? The more you can kind of start focusing on, I know what I don't want. What do I want? Now, once you start turning your gaze that direction, it starts feeling a little better. And then, of course, she goes into the stuff I was touching on earlier. Get more general in your negative emotion. This is the way to slowly get better. You can't quit cold turkey. De-emphasize it a little bit. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt. Well, what if I were seeing it through a different lens? And this guy who was talking about the economy example, he's like, look, I if I do this, I haven't changed my perspective. I'm just ignoring it. And she of course goes into addressing that. It's like source is a solution focused thing. So it's so instead of really needing to 100% ignoring it by also ignoring this, she says, kind of in the sense of, look, I don't have to think about this now. I don't have to get specific about this now. It's not something that needs to happen. The pendulum is always going to swing. I know that. That's just true. The sun always comes out behind the clouds. There's evidence of well-being around if I want to start looking in that direction. And just this idea that hey, just knowing anytime you're expanding, this sort of stuff is coming up for you. It's this growing pains, right? When you were 13 years old and your legs grew an inch overnight, it's like, ow, I must have expanded. And there can be some aches and pains with that. And, I love this idea of, look, I must have expanded and I must not be going. Source is calling me. That's what's happening here. And talk about finding the focus that is going to lead you out and serve you. It's such a powerful thing to consider every time you're dealing with something that's challenging and I must have expanded and I'm feeling really challenged because I must be slow to go, where ultimately this growing pain is going to lead to an expanded state, an expanded me. Yeah. So hope this one helps you guys today to kind of clarify some of the nuance of this very pertinent, topic for all of us. I'm sure we've all wrestled with these things, and deeper clarity is ever coming forth, I believe. And I'm glad to share my own perspectives on how to generate that clarity and ultimately navigate these negative emotions more gracefully, right? Is the ultimate aim. So with that being said, I do have a song to leave you with. This is a song called Deep Connection. It's by Rob Ricardo. It's a good one. Hope you enjoy. Till next time, journey well. Also, before we cue up today's song, as a quick reminder, don't forget to download the Golden Key audio or ebook as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the Golden Key code POSITIVEHEAD. And please, if you enjoy my gift, leave a positive review on Amazon so others can unlock their lives with the help of the Golden Key as well.
Breath through the island easy as I drift in the deep blue sea. Head high now above the surface, taking in that beauty. While the sun is shining, well, this is all I need. I root down to the ocean bottom, but I can feel that heat at the core of Pachamama, birthing all we see, creating land above with a fire underneath. But I've been looking for a deep connection, and here that's what I found. This island shares her lessons on sacred ground. Let go and open up, deep connections all around. Dive into the cleansing bliss of the waterfall, receiving the gifts of the spirits. Can you hear their song, singing of a love for the land and the mighty sea? And I will wash it away in the waves of the eastern bay, giving thanks to the first protectors in their sacred ways. Energy of their ancient prayers are what we need today. I've been looking for a deep connection, and here that's what I found. This island shares her lessons on sacred ground. Let go and open up, all deep connections all around. She will set you free.